Hi, it's Steve from Stapling and Nailing Supplies, mytoolkit.co.uk. A few weeks ago we did care and maintenance of a stapler, and what I'd like to cover today is a nailer. 18 gauge brad nailer, this one, air operated. It could be a 16 gauge finish nailer, but what I want to get across is that the main components in the tool are the same. Different manufacturers, different designs. That's why I'm not going to go into too much detail. And there is coil nailers and strip nailers, but I think I'll cover that on a separate video. But if you come in a little bit more closely, you can see this 18 gauge brad nailer here. Obviously you've got your main body, and if I remove this, this is normally Allen bolts, but that is the main head. I'm going to remove that. There is actually a gasket there as well, which I'll put to one side. But in this head, there is what we call the head valve. And if I'll just tap that out, you'll see inside the head. And again, if you've been using the tool sometime, this needs cleaning out with a soft cloth. And just a word of warning, if you do use an airline to blow this down, there is a seat there for this spring to sit against, and that will blow out and you don't want to be losing it. But just make sure it's nice and clean. Use an O-ring lubricant in there. There's the spring that sits in the head, and there is the head valve, and that operates against the spring, and again there's O-rings here to be cleaned up. O-ring lubricant, put that back in over the spring, says he. I'll just drop it in the other way around. And that head valve should just operate quite smoothly against that spring. And a lot of tools we get in for service, and it could be constantly exhausting the air, and that head valve could have stuck, and what you get is you get debris and dirt in there, and then it sticks. So it's a very, very simple check there on the top of the tool. And I'll just put that again to one side. Coming back to the tool, you've then got the cylinder, which I can remove there, and I'll show it in a bit more detail. In the cylinder, of course, we have the driver assembly, and there we go, driver, and again cleaning this up, rubber O-ring there, and at the bottom of the piston, the cylinder, is the damper, or sometimes referred to as the bumper, just like the stapler. But again, this cylinder needs to be all cleaned out. Use a bit of air tool oil, run in there, and the rubber damper, inspect this, because obviously as this driver comes down its cycle, it strikes the damper there, and too much air pressure, it can break up, reduce the life cycle, but over a period of time, absorbing all this energy, that will break up. So that's just one of the two of the things in the brad nailer we need to look at. There is a magazine which opens up. Obviously inspect this magazine, make sure it's nice and clean, and the springs and the feed shoe are in good condition. So there we go. 18 gauge brad nailer there. But whether it be a 16 gauge, the main components are all the same. So just inspect the cylinder, the driver assembly, just clean it all up, and above all, remember how it went back together. And keep the bench nice and tidy, and an ideal tip is just to have a drawing, a line drawing, and you should be okay. Any problems at all, you can email us, pick up the phone. We'll always gladly help. Just give us some contact. So I hope that's some information for you, and I'll see you again soon. Take care.